Hello Indie Game fan, after the hustle and bustle of the Steam Next Festival, it's time to get back to business, where the year started off quite unexpectedly with some really surprising entries, but let's begin with Dread Templar, a boomer shooter that released out of early access and is, of course, all action all the time. The throwback visuals are well done, but not to the extreme pixelation of Wolfenstein 3D, where our protagonist dives into hell seeking revenge, slaying a bunch of demons in the process. It has quite an interesting upgrade system that involves the use of runes, with over 100 upgrades across all your weapons to experiment with, where as a result, the action does only pick up a little bit into the game, so don't mind the slow start in this. Of course, this gorgeous Metroidvania title makes the cut, since Glimmer in Mirror is pretty and has good action and exploration, coming to us from a Chinese developer, where our protagonist adventures through the world and uncovers its secrets. However, there are some caveats here in that A, the English translation isn't great, and B, it's doing the weird thing of being an early access Metroidvania which I strongly dislike, so perhaps keep an eye on it for now to see if it gets better in 1.0. One of those games that came out of nowhere is Sailing Era, one that uses an anime art style but is in fact an open-world sailing RPG, drawing comparisons to Uncharted Waters. You have to hire and manage your crew and ship, exploring, getting items, trading, upgrading a ship, and even taking part in combat, both of the overworld naval battle variety as well as hand-to-hand combat when you board an enemy vessel. There are 4 main story campaigns with a bunch of side quests as well, where the freedom to explore the world is the best part. Like the previous title, it is from a Chinese developer, but the English translation here is pretty good in comparison, so you don't have to worry, where games like this are why I love indie games. In a world of endless Vampire Survivors clones, it's nice to get regular Isaac-style room-based roguelite, which is exactly where Cultivation's story Reincarnation landed, a Chinese wuxia and mythology-tinged title where a hero battles through the world. The upgrades and synergies are fun and can lead to overpowered combinations, which is part of the fun of this genre in my opinion. As a side note, apparently the term cultivation game is a thing, referring to ancient China settings, which I came to know of when I covered Wandering Sword recently, where we do seem to be getting more of these in recent months. Man, I'm so proud of this developer, since Punch-a-Bunch is a physics-based fighting game that looks and plays great, coming to us from indie developer and YouTuber Pontypants, who appears to be crushing it on both ends. 154,000 subscribers, millions of views, and a successful game. The man's living the dream, made even more impressive since he posted a video in March 2020 that he is making a game, and after slightly less than 3 years, the game is out and is pretty good. The punching controls in this are the most unique aspect and is worth a try, having to make use of momentum and physics to land the heavier shots, where there's no leveling or skill points, but comes down to timing and skill. And while there is a story mode, I think this would be best with a friend. We did also have the surprise release of Fraymakers, basically indie Smash Brothers, from the people that used to make Smash Brothers fan games, where the developer does love the genre and it shows in the product. The roster here is one of the more interesting ones, since I wouldn't say it's the usual suspects, currently having Octodad, Commander Video from the Bit Trip Runner series, Weltaro from Downwell, Orcane from Rivals of Aether, The Watcher from Slay the Spire, and Ultra Fish Bunjin 3000 from Slap City, with of course characters from the mega popular ones like Hollow Knight, Shovel Knight, Dead Cells, Undertale and Celeste are conspicuous by their absence, but it is in early access and we have more characters to come. The assists are also of interest, featuring Among Us, Wondersong, Getting Over It, Crosscode, Machinarium, Super Hexagon and more, so it's a celebration of all things indie games and is one of the better such titles, certainly being a game of interest. I've been looking forward to this action platformer, so I'm happy to report that Vengeful Guardian Moonrider does not disappoint, being an all-action title with gorgeous pixel art, as is expected from developer Joy Masher. It is of course a throwback to all your ninja games of the past, including Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden and even Hagane, with a nice variety in levels and bosses and even changes in gameplay away from the side-scrolling action. The weird thing, however, is that this is generally easier than their other titles like Blazing Chrome and Odellas, so on one hand it's more accessible, but on the other, it doesn't feel like as much of a brutally difficult throwback, so your mileage may vary on this. Hello! If you're seeing this, you might not know that I have a Patreon, where support from there really adds stability to the channel as we build towards the indie mega list, so do hop on over and chip in if you can. I was not expecting this game to hit as hard as it did, but Indonesian made A Space for the Unbound is excellent and is not to be missed. This is a slice-of-life adventure game with a supernatural twist, where two high school sweethearts go on a journey to learn more about themselves and each other as they face the end of the world. The 1990s rural Indonesia setting is wonderfully captured in the gorgeous pixel art. We have seen more than a couple of comments and reviews noting how this game brought them to tears, so it's an emotional and powerful experience that is worth checking out. I love how this developer has pretty much made a subgenre of its own, where in Luck Be a Landlord, you're essentially playing a slot machine, being able to change the icons as part of your strategy. It is not a simple match X number of symbols in a line type scoring system, but where there are various synergies that you can play with, all in an attempt to win capitalism as you try to pay off your ever-increasing rent. The developer has been tremendously receptive while in early access and has kept adding to the game, so to see the massive success that this game has had does warm my heart, since it is well deserved, where if you have not played this, now's the perfect time to get in. Alright, you guys got me. After seeing this game pop up over and over in the comments, I have to give props where it's due, where this game is indeed something special. The first thing that you would notice is the art and animation, resembling a 90s cartoon, where the exaggerated expressions and features of our protagonist and the enemies are very well done. The action and structure of the game has been compared to the Wario Land platformers, which hasn't had a new entry since 2008, so it's indie developers to the rescue once again, capturing and nailing what made those games great and then some, where the sprawling levels, secrets and absolute insanity going on in each level is worth experiencing, so fair play to Pizza Tower, which took something like 5 years to tweak and improve. We can find more action platformers in this video.